that. Thanks for the patience too, because okay, there we go. Now we're live, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Yeah. About time. About time. So before I got on here, I had to go nostalgia. I was like, last time she seen me, I was probably in this shirt right here. Yeah. So, everybody, welcome to the stage here. Shalise, I met Shalise when I was at FinCon. We met in early September, and I knew from the energy that when we very first met that this person was special. We connected immediately and we started talking about our children and how we were trying to help them learn about finances. And that is how we connected, and we're definitely going to check up on where we are at with that part in our lives. So, Shalise, what's going on? How have you been? Yeah, when I went down there, I went down there with the objective of making connections because this was the year that I said to myself that I must do something different. I'm tired of getting the same result. In order to get a different result, you got to do something different. So I stepped out. That was my first time stepping out in a very long time, and I'm very happy that I made that decision. So yeah, all right, let's get in what we got going on. Inflation. Inflation is the name of the game. We're going to talk about how we first got introduced to it and the things that we've learned over time and our approaches now towards inflation. So I'm going to kick it off this way. All right. So when did you very first learn about inflation? Let's turn back the clock on when inflation came out of someone's mouth and you're like, what is that? Mm-hmm. Hmm. You realize it real fast. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm in inflation. I'm just like you. I really didn't understand what the official term was until probably about '08, '09. And I mean, I was old enough where I feel like I should have known about it. And I probably just skipped over that part in economics class. But regardless of that, it didn't hit me then because I didn't have to pay for anything. But just like you, when that hit the pocket, you're like, what in the world? And gas at that time jumped to like 4.50 in my area. I'm in Ohio, so that's where I saw all of my prices was close to around $4. And here we are now, back in the same boat around that $4 area. So yeah, inflation is the I like to explain to everybody, inflation is just really the simple cost of money. So as the purchasing power of your dollar diminishes, that's inflation. And this is what we're living in right now. So I had to do my journalism this time because I had to make sure I got it all written down. Because as I continue to, grow in this, there's a lot of things always in my head. And then I'm like, dang, I should have said X, Y, Z. And then I forgot. But this time I'm like, no, I'm going to make sure I got it. All right. So one of the things that we talked about when we were down there is our culture and the things that we've learned through our culture and the things that we've had to basically unlearn through our culture. So share with the people a few things that you knew in your journey as early Shalice, and then as you started to progress down this path of financial freedom that you unlearned and said, I should have never done it that way. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Same way. Yep. Still, yeah. Ain't no changing it. Yeah. There's a lot of people out there who are uh, not really sick and tired of being sick and tired yet. And that's sad because the one thing that I've had to learn over time is that unfortunately I have to separate myself from you. And I have to do that for my own personal growth. It's no malice towards anybody at all whatsoever. But the one thing that I've learned is that I can try to help you as much as I possibly can, but you thrashing in 10 feet of water, you're going to drown both of us. So I got to say, I'm sorry. I'm not going to let you drown. I'm going to throw you a life raft. But if you don't do it, I can't help you on that no more. So yeah, that's the one thing I definitely had to learn is how to reserve my energy because you only got so much. And once it's gone, that's it. You clocked out and you can't borrow from nobody. All right. So we got some good ones on that one. Now, you speak of your husband. I'm curious, who else is your biggest money influence? Just him? Mm-hmm. Hmm. He does keep it very simple. The only thing I like Buffett, I do because of his simplicity. However, I also think that the adapt to change is something that you need to be able to do. And while his style works and is consistent, I think there's a little bit of change that's happening technology wise that I think he's catching on to. You know, he's picking up stocks like that. But yeah, that's my only thing. But I love the whole thing of being able to get very simple stocks. You don't have to overthink it at all. Like you said, for simplicity, we're gonna get into the whole kid thing. Like my daughters, I taught them how to pick stocks, and the very simplest way that I taught them to pick stocks is from a kid approach. I said, when we driving, I want you to look at the parking lot. All right, if you see there's a lot of cars in that parking lot, then chances are they're probably doing good business. And that's as simple as you can do, right? Because that's how I first got introduced to stocks. It was Home Depot, because I used to spend, I still do, but spending money there. I realized that I'm always in line and what my ticket price was. And I'm like, if my ticket price is this, and I'm pretty certain that everybody else in here has an identical one or higher. And that was one of my first stocks around 56 bucks. Home Depot, yeah. And yeah, now they're, about 300 or so now. So that's the easiest way to do it is don't overthink it. All right. So back to inflation on this one, all right? Now that we're talking about it and we understand it, what are some defenses that you are currently doing in order to help you with inflation? Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to use it one day. It's 15 bucks. Mm-hmm. Cancel it. Mm-hmm. We got to maximize. Cancel it. Right. The budget. The I think it's the one tool that is neglected the most in every household is the budget because money is so fluid that people just loosely handle it and they understand that they make it, but they never know where it goes. Like you said, you got to patch up the leaky holes in your boat because it's very easy for you to lose sight of your goals if you don't do that. So yeah, next one I got for you. All right. So now that you know how to deal with inflation, all right, there's the new reform, Shalise. All right. So how did you deal with it before you knew what inflation was. You got to borrow. You Listen, the spending is real. I did this before where I covered this topic about the American dream, the big liability scheme, and the whole premise of how you get things. Okay, if you want to get the house, take a loan out, you get the house. All right, you want to get a car, take a loan out, you get the car. Right, everything adds up so it can keep you in debt. And now we're going to also talk about inflation being interest. Okay, because it's an interest against you and your money. Now, with the stock market, when you have interest, you have the ability to actually have it work in your favor. So, one of the defenses that I've taught people a lot of times is to buy dividend stocks, especially in environments like this, because while it may be minimal, like you talked about for that little 15.99 or whatever, okay, I may get a 4% dividend, all right, but I get that quarterly. Well, you get the whole 4% annually. So if you own enough shares, it continues to add up. But regardless of whatever it is, I didn't do anything for it. And it came to me. That's how I always look at it. Yes. Yes. Mm-mm. Mm. Yeah, I used to have pretty sure everybody in my hood had one, but the little crock butter ones, the what's the crocker butter one, the little light brown joints, full of pennies, full of pennies. I used to add them up, 50-cent rollers, and just get them going, and I take them to the bank, and I remember those days rolling up the coins and see how much you got. Leave it, yeah. I'm like, whoop. Yeah, I don't see this. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's because they probably like this. Like y'all missing out on the free money out here. This dividends on the ground. There's dividend payments all over the place. Yeah, I love dividend stocks, and that's the one thing I'm telling everybody as much as I possibly can. Especially in this environment, you had inflation as high as 8.7%. Offset that. Get you a nice little 4% and make that inflation come back down for a little bit. And when inflation finally does come back to its, normal 2-3%, you backing it up. That's how I always look at it. All right. So now that we know more about inflation, all right, we talked about stocks. What are some benefits that you now know about inflation? Yeah. Mm, right. 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 It's coming to bite you.
Lucky boy's coming. Mac attack is coming.
Right. Now, that is the great benefit because it teaches you the discipline. Unfortunately, the hard way. But some people only learn the hard way. So it is what it is. Now, one thing I definitely learned about inflation is that it is the benefit of the asset holder. And I didn't know that part until I got assets, right? And now, when I own real estate, now all of a sudden my property went up. I'm like, yo, this is what's up, right? Some people do other things with their, they sell it or they take out equity on it or whatever the game they may play, but it's still in your benefit because you had inflation working for you as the asset holder. I used to be the bag holder. Now I'm on the other side of the coin. So I like inflation for that fact alone, but I'm with you. It does hurt because I may be making a little bit more in here, but that money still has to go back out somewhere else. All right. So now that we understand the benefits of inflation here now. So let's get back to the kids here. As you can see, I got the dog, I got the kids. This is real life right here. I don't let none of this stop because this is what everybody has right now, you know.
Say hi, Mackie Pup. Hi, Mackie Pup.
That is Mac, yes. So hold on. Back to the kids now. Now I told you about how I introduced my children to how to find stocks. Now, what are some conversations that you've had with your children in order to help them understand about stocks, money in general? What's that conversation sound like? mm,
No playing with it, Ron.
mm.
Come on, Ron. Come on, Ron. Come on.
Mm. Trauma. That's deep. Mm-hmm. mm, back, yep. Right. Some deep combos. Yeah, that's what's up. Like, so when do you remember your very first conversation about money? Like, what's the earliest conversation you can remember? Hmm. Causes something, yeah. Yeah, that reserving that energy. It's all good. Yeah, I ain't got no hatred towards anybody whatsoever. That's also energy that is wasted. So I'm good on that. I'm I like to keep my peace. I keep it like that. um, when it comes to money, I actually started my conversations really early. My kids are 5, 7, and 9, and I've been talking to them about money basically since 2. All right, and I have the idea that if I just continually drop seeds, that at an early age they'll get the concept of it. And the earliest experience where I realized that it really started to make sense to them is I went and got both of my daughters a bank account at 7 and 5. My oldest, she's 9 now. She got it at 7. My middle, who's 7 now, she got it at 5. So I set up an account for them through our bank PNC, and they get a little debit card, all the cute stuff, right? So we put a little money in there and allow them to go to Target or whatever and spend $20 or so. So, Daddy, the way I spend money is okay. I got 20. All right, I'm gonna break this 20. I'm gonna bust this down. I'm gonna try to make sure I keep as much as I possibly can, right? I want to leave with some cash back, basically. Now that's the principle that I'm teaching them. Now, mommy, on the other hand, was like, "You got 20, you can spend maximum 20." And I'm like, "No, because this is it's the first experience. You're gonna ruin them. They're gonna think that everything that hits their hand got to get out of here as fast as possible." So my middle, she got it. My oldest blew 20. She spent 19 something. Now she's doing better. She's doing better. But that's how early I started. And I figured if I get a jump on it, because I'm like you, I didn't really have those conversations about money explicitly. You know, it was always involuntarily. And then I found myself in the same traps when I got older. I remember the cable bill. I used to be putting it off until it was basically about to cut me off. Then oh, here you go. I'll break you off for 50, 60, whatever. Hold me down. Keep running with the cable. 3 months until they get mad again. Here you go. You know, and that's how it was. And I was like, man, I gotta stop this, man. This is ridiculous. Yeah. All right. So now that we got those conversations about the kids, the more important one is the spouse. I've heard you multiple times talk about how your husband introduced you. So what do those conversations look like? How do you get into the conversation? Because he basically introduced you to the conversations about money. So how did that originate? Yeah. we do a lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Money. Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Not the same. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Be that beacon. Now, can't get out of. Yeah. That's where they want you. No, no, I'm with it. No, I'm with it 100%. That's why we connect because I'm super passionate about this because I know what it's like. I know what it's like. I'll never forget what it's like. and that is fresh in my brain. And even though it was a while ago, it's still right there, right? Because I know that hurt, and then you just make bad decisions, and everything spirals out of control, and that's where they get you at. They want you in that hole. I don't want anybody in that hole because it sucks, and I want everybody to win. I like seeing winners win. I want to make sure anybody around me that's on my team that I love, I don't care if I don't really like you, I still want you to win. I just want you to be victorious. Hands down. All right, so I know we're going to wrap up on here. So last one that I got here is, what's the worst piece of advice that you've ever gotten about money? Mm. It was a scam. Mm-hmm. Where the camera at? Yeah. That's what they do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the facts. Yeah. I had the shoebox too. Mm-hmm. That's it. Right. That's all it took was that little too. But that's the thing. People may say that's little, but I always look at it from the perspective of, I remember a salesman came to my door and was trying to, I forget what they were trying to sell anyway. I mean, they doing their thing, right? They're doing their job. And he was like, it's only $1, is what I remember him saying. I said, well, if it's only, then you pay it. Right? Of course, he's not going to come off that dollar. You know why? Because it's not only, it's his dollar. And that's how we got to defend our money the same exact way. And ain't no onlys out here. Cherish that. You worked, you didn't have to do too much work for it. Say, thank you. I appreciate you. I'm just like you when it comes to the stock market, right? My very first actual introduction to it was through a classroom environment in the fifth grade. And I remember this because I was in Florida and this guy came and he taught the class about stocks in a approach that children understand, which was candy. So we would have like Nestle, we would pick like companies like Nestle and stuff like that. And we had the little Scantron little thing or whatever, and we were picking them. And he had a little thing that showed, the appreciation of it. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. That was my very first nugget that I had the stock market. Fast forward, I didn't hear anything about that really too much at all. And then as I got older, I used to rap. And then I remember I used to listen in the background of CNBC. So I always really had it like there, but never jumped forward yet at that point. But what really hit me about the stock market was, a lot of my friends did, various things that they did. I was in those neighborhoods. And I always knew, even as they did it, that that's not for me. Like I always knew that at that point in time. So once I understood the stock market, I said, yo, why do we do this? Like, why are we in the streets? Why are we doing the things that we're doing? We're obviously pretty educated, because if we can apply that knowledge towards things of that nature, then all we have to do is do it on the other side. It's the same exact energy. We just need to apply it differently. And that's what really got me to it. I'm like, no one has to worry about being hated on. No one's getting shot at. No one's worrying about the police coming. All of that stuff is done. All we have to do is, wait a minute, all right, boom, I got $100. Cool. Wait a minute, Target just hit 150. All right. I mean, now you can buy partial shares. Back then you couldn't. But even now, I'm like, all right, cool. When I get my next 100, I'm gonna get a share or something like that. They get a dividend. Everybody goes to Target. Makes sense to me. And again, I ain't got to. Who's that? I ain't got to worry about none of that, right? I'm safe. I can see my kids every day. That's what I love about the stock market. They don't care about none of that. They don't know who you are. As long as you say you got XYZ money, cool. Okay? There's no limit to how many people can get in it. All of these things all add up. So I'm like, man, we should have been doing this. But again, it was that access to information. At that point in time, we didn't know. And what you don't know, you don't know. So now you know better, you do better, just like you said earlier. So I know you got a tight stop here. We got 8:58, and I wanted to say I love you. I appreciate you. One thing that I've learned over time is I'm not afraid to tell anybody I love you. All right. And that's because I've lost people, and I wish I had the opportunity to say that. And in life, you have to appreciate people. So I know we don't know each other like that, but I always tell people, look, I don't need to do that just to tell you I love you. I love you. I appreciate what you're doing. I see you out there. You're doing your thing. I wish you the very best. I hope that I can be a vessel for you at any point in time, because that's something that I would love to be able to do. So thank you again for spending your time with me, sharing your experiences, and giving the people, a nice little glimpse of what Shalise is about. Yeah, nothing. We're good. Hmm. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I came with this approach of, I want my kids to be able to listen to it. That's how I always look at it. If they can listen to it and they can understand it, then I think I'm doing something right. So thank you. All right. I appreciate you one more time. We're going to sign off. And anytime you need something that I can be of help, I'll be glad to do it. All right. All right. You take it easy. Good night.